Your internet connection is unstable. Awesome.
Yours?
It says that sometimes. It's just Wi-Fi.
Okay. All right, everybody. We're going to get started here.
She's very
Welcome
jumpy.
to the LBR Wedding Virtual Class. And we really are looking forward to working with you guys. And it's great. We're seeing some of the people that we're seeing in the community pretty regularly. And we'd like you guys to go around and introduce yourselves and the shop that you're from and the state location.
Yeah, they're giving weird faces because you're very glitchy.
I am.
Yes.
So
what if we get the headset from my office?
Okay.
And hook in through a laptop. Like I have my own laptop here. So it's my sound that's glitchy? Oh no.
That's better.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can we put a that one drop mic there and see once if it works?
Yeah, you're doing much better now. You were very glitchy and almost like echoing before.
So this one's not working right now.
It might just be the internet connection itself that is making your sound glitchy.
Okay, so why don't we start with Carmen? Do you want to introduce yourself and then tell us where you're from?
My name is Carmen. I'm from Huckleberry Floral in Dodge Center, Minnesota.
I'm not hearing them now.
Hi, Carmen.
My phone, if I put my phone on Wi-Fi. Okay, the phone
Is
works.
Minnie there with you? Carmen?
Yeah. Yep.
Tell her hi.
Yeah. I was like, is Jackie from Blooming Prairie? Like, she's doing it too.
That's what I'm-
Yeah. I was just admiring how organized everybody is behind them. Like all the paint cans are lined up and I feel like I have a big old mess.
Sorry. Okay, come on.
Tammy, are you going to inspire design? Into where? Austin? Tammy? No.
No.
What about the one in the Black Hills? Will you go to that one?
I would love to do either one.
Yeah.
But timings didn't work out. Black Hills the same weekend as North Dakota State Virtual Convention that I have to, so can't do that. And I had weddings around the time in the Houston one, so
yeah.
Would love to be there.
See. That time I know I typed it wrong. Are those other guys talking amongst themselves? So they're introducing themselves. It's good.
Sure, we'll just take over, Sandy.
To the bathroom.
I was gonna say, is there something going on in the bathroom? Oh, I knew it was oily. Do not use. Well, what good is it? No kidding, nice.
Yeah, it's in the email. that one? This Wi-Fi. Their Wi-Fi, yeah. Okay, now I can hear.
Okay.
Can everybody hear me? So can you guys hear? If you can give me a wave. Okay, so much better. Sorry, my mom's in the hospital and we had a phone call come in between, so I kind of went and disconnected, and so we lost our little bit of prep that we had done. So I'm sorry that we lost that connection. All right, so I think everybody introduced themselves. I could see you guys laughing in between, which is good, but we really appreciate you being here today and dedicating yourself to education and really working on continuing to learn techniques that you're able to keep your skills moving forward. Sorry, I'm a little bit scatterbrained. So everybody should have gotten one of these nice bags with the materials in. And can we have everybody hold up their armatures? So everybody did their armature. There we go, looking good. All right. We have everybody have those done. Linda, do you guys have yours done? No, that was a no. All right.
Yeah, that was a no. We'll do it quickly as you're speaking here.
All right, all right. So I had instructions in there on how to be able to do it round or also the elongated version. So the elongated version really is kind of the version that we see a lot of the bouquets happening right now. And here you can see one of the done bouquets, and you see these big Pinterest pictures come in, and it's a really long bouquet. You can have it shorter on one side and you can extend it out the other side. Be able to utilize that armature to spread your flowers out. And so this is just one of the completed ones that I added a little bit to. But what we're gonna do, that's like a more advanced spiral stem or spiral bouquet. Here is actually a round one that I started, and I added the balsa wood, which is a new product from Smithers Oasis. It comes like this, it's a flat piece, and I just wound that into the round structure. And we're just gonna go here and just show you first off and talk through why we would do a spiral bouquet and what are the benefits to it. So on here, anytime you're using a structure to be able to do a spiral bouquet, you have to think about the stems going in. These are going. So when you come, anything that's come to this side is going to go behind the main stem. And if it's going to come from this side, it's going to go in front of that stem. So essentially they form X's, but you're not able to see the X from one side, but that's the inside of it. And so we just come here and I'm going to start putting this together. And you can see how the armature allows me to spread those flowers out. Okay, I can hear myself, but I'm delayed in my ear, so it makes me have to think and laugh at myself a little bit. All right. And I didn't attach these in at all because I want them to be movable once I put the other flowers in. So every once in a while, you may need to take a look at how your stems are coming in. And if you can see X's here, then it's wrong. And you want to flip it over itself so that they do that spiral pattern. And each stem laying in its own area, you can see when you bind that in that binding point, you're not going to crush those stems. And it's going to be a more pleasing bouquet, and your flowers are going to be able to be more spread out. You also can make some adjustments when it's that spiral to be able to move them once you have the other flowers in. So here, I'm just going to come in and add a few more in. As I instructed you guys, we gave you a flower list, but you were able to make some of your own decisions on colors. But some of the things to consider are the varieties of texture that you have, and something like the different elements and principles of design as you're looking at it. So color, texture, the fragrance, and so something like stock is going to add fragrance in. As I'm adding here, you can see the more beginner way through the armature is to kind of turn it to the front, and then you can easily see, and I'm doing it backwards. So you could do it so that you can see it here, but I'm doing it here so that you guys can see it instead. But you want to use those spaces that you've developed with your armature to hold the flowers spaced out so that they utilize more space and add that additional value. I'm not worried a ton about the placement. I'm going to do some up and down, so things are moving as I'm going here, and that's okay. My next round here, I'm actually going to go to the outside of the armature. Carnations, we're going to use kind of right down in the bottom. So many times I'll use carnations to just be that extra depth that goes in. And here I didn't end up putting a whole lot of greens in because I wanted you guys to be able to see your insertions. So I'm not putzing a lot with those placement of those flowers until I get to the end. I decide here I want to have this to come in a little bit further. So when I'm coming through, I look through, drop it in, and then you look for where it falls in here. And sometimes you just need to take and spin them around and just flip one stem over another to make sure that you're getting that spiral. If you're doing it right, you should kind of get a little bit of a spring from there. So now we can just tuck these ends back in. And I see I have a rose that's kind of repetitious of the same one there. So I'm going to come over here. But you can just see that you are able, let's go backwards. You are able to spread those flowers out a lot more by starting using that armature. So then we're just going to go into the first one. Was there any questions on that? I kind of went fast. So switch to participant view, gallery. So how many people have done spiral bouquets before? So we have one hand, a couple hands, okay? All right. So the next thing we're gonna need is one of the taped wires. And then your ribbon. So everybody should have gotten ribbon that looked like this basic satin ribbon. Now here I did end up just going with a neutral, like the just basic green. But this is an inexpensive way to really pull color into somebody's wedding. And we know that we've had some unrealistic budgets that don't kind of match how big they want their bouquets. And a lot of blue happening right now. So our satin ribbon is one of our least expensive materials that we can really pull that in and be able to utilize that color to be able to satisfy our customers' wants for the colors. So on here, you can see how I'm measuring. For me, I know that 1 yard of ribbon is my arm length to my collarbone. And so it's very easy for me to measure out 1 yard of ribbon. And so I want you guys to cut off 1 yard of ribbon off your prepared ribbon. Had anybody done that before where you change the satin ribbon into this more silk look? Got everybody on silence. All right. So we have the 1 yard that we set aside. That's going to tie it on the end. And then we're just simply going to come in and make kind of a larger bow out of here. Just doing the basic bow where you come and do a loop. It's probably about 5 inches deep, 4 to 5 inches deep. Do the twist and then come in with the other loops. So I'm just gonna do this, and here I've got it that it's quite wide. Where did I go?
Oh, she figured it
Oh.
out.
And so you can see just bigger loops just coming back and forth. And the other thing about it, like right now, the matte side of the ribbon is an interesting texture as well. So I kind of did this one shiny side up, but you could see that you could use the matte side as well. The matte finishes are trending right now. So this now becomes our armature. It's not exactly what you would think of as an armature, but so we're starting with the bow as the base mechanic. Then we'll get our flowers out. And so on this, should have 2 roses. And this is It doesn't have to be specific to the list, but just some larger flowers. And then as you're going here, we're going to have the binding point on this as you come in. Any foliage or anything below that binding point, you're going to clean off. So we're going to clean up the guard petals. Here, I'm going to leave that leaf on right now because I believe it's going to be above the binding point, but I might take it off once I make the bouquet, but we'll let it there for right now. I've got a couple cremins, and on those, I always take the foliage off because it tends to kind of go first. And then we get our like dahlia-like flowers. Today I'm using the Charlotte Rossano cremin. And got a couple Alstro that are a little bit on the tight side. After Mother's Day here, we're about cutting buds now. So on this too, some of that foliage up there is a little bit wild and maybe going to be. So I'm going to leave some, but I'm going to tailor off a few other pieces just so it's not adding too much different lines going different directions. On the carnations, I'm going to clean those up as well. Just pulling backwards to clean off those leaves. The one thing that you can do is cut it a little bit shorter. Many times I see people waste time going all the way down here when we're not gonna be utilizing that far. So no sense adding the labor to clean it all the way up down there. The other thing that we're gonna do to our carnations, based on some experimentation that I've done, a carnation, we don't reduce the life of the carnation. And so what I'm doing here is coming in and I'm pulling down on that calyx and then just really spreading that flower out. And so I go from this to this, which you can see I get a lot more coverage and it does not decrease the life of the flower. I have some of these hypnosis carnations at home that I've done this with, and I had some that I didn't. And we're a month in and they're just starting to brown on the edges. So it's pretty incredible. As you look at the variety of materials, so here I have a spray rose that I'm using. I'm gonna clean up some of the petals, leave some of that, but you can see the variety of sizes of materials. And we have some hypericum that's going to give me more of that waxy finish. A little bit of salal that'll be for finishing. I want you to make sure and take off any leaves that have any like insect damage. I don't want anybody to look into the bouquet and wonder if the critter is still in there. So think about me when you're doing that. I'm like, oh, is the salad bar still open? All right, so I think those are extras. So we have 4 carnations or equivalent. Hypericum, rose, Alstro, some disc buds, or dahlia-like floral material. And so what we're gonna do, is everybody ready to go? So our C of our hand is gonna be the binding point. So the first thing that we're gonna do is set that ribbon into your binding point. And so I'll do the pinch a little bit more with my thumb, and I don't hold real tight with my hand like that. I'm gonna just do more of the pinch kind of with those two fingers. You see laying in here, and these stay open. I'll use them some for bracing, but that way I get that more open look. So the first thing coming in, are we okay? Okay, so coming in, we're gonna come in horizontal, and then we're gonna tip up in. So that's gonna be our first one. And then if you do a half turn, your second flower, come in horizontal, and then tip it up in. Cut this. A little shorter here. Okay. So I have the two roses there. I'm not going to worry too much about the depth of them because I will be able to adjust them up and down. So the next thing that I'm going to come in with is like the spray roses. So this is going to be more my focal area. Do another little half turn and then come in with the spray roses. And take a look. So come in horizontally and tip it up in, and then separate your bow, that your bow is kind of incorporated into your design. Half turn. And then now on the outer materials, we're going to be doing those in groupings. So I'm actually grabbing my two cremins at the same time, laying one in and then laying the next one in. That way I'm being efficient with my labor. Half turn, come in, and so now I have a hypericum that's going to come on the other side, and you can see visually I've got the spray rose that are kind of a smaller, and then I have the hypericum that's that same complementary color family, and so it kind of comes across, and then that will draw my eye from one side of the bouquet to the other. Then we're going to come in with a couple Alstro. So I'm going to do a half turn again. And then horizontal in, tip it in, and then just kind of get it wound into the bow there. And then the second one the same there as well. So now because I'm holding it loose, you can see that you can move flowers up and down and a little bit so that you can make some adjustments once you've put it in. And then we're going to come around and collar with the, oh, hang on, we got to put the carnations in first. And so carnations are coming in kind of as depth. And so we're gonna not do those in groupings. I'm just gonna kind of spread the 3 out, or there's 4, huh? Should be 4. This is why you clean ahead of time, or you get really good at one-handed stuff. So now take a look that your stems are lying in that same spiral pattern. And lastly, lots of times we lose people, like they stay in the spiral all the way till they're put in their greens, and then they forgot they lost their head. So let's make sure that our greens are following that pattern. And the easiest way is to just keep turning that. So the spiral pattern also stays together. So if you do have to set it down and go answer the phone or do something, it's going to be something that is stable together. So lastly, everybody should have gotten some bind wire. And that's right here. And we're just going to take, it's probably about 18 inches or so. And I'm going to fold it over. And then what I do is hook it in my pinky there. And then I hold the bouquet. I'm going to come around and around again. And then I tie those two, twist those two over each other. So I have one end that has a loop and one that has the 2 ends. I don't want to do it too tight so that I'm breaking flower stems. And also that way I can make some adjustments kind of up and down and just move things around just a little bit. Got 2 carnations that are together all of a sudden. So do your final inspection, kind of pull your ribbon out in through the edges. And then that tie, I'm just going to fold right onto itself. And then we're going to take our last yard of ribbon and come around and finish that. So if you do it offset the first time here, then you can do another one and just have a single loop. And it becomes kind of a loop and 2 tails. But so that's, you know, really a way to be able to extend the budget, some limited budgets that are out there, and then also pull in some of those different colors, especially when we see some of those teals and things like that, that floral materials don't come into. You have a way to kind of incorporate that pretty easily and inexpensively. So how we doing out there? Trying to see. Nice, Linda. And we've got, oh, yeah, Carmen. Just do a spin. Very nice. Looking good on the bottom, yep. So then, I mean, you can use this in vase work on a daily basis. Just take your vase and you're gonna pull it to the edge. Hang on, I got to switch to a smaller vase. I'm gonna pull the base right to the edge, and that way I can see where to cut that. And be able to have that hand tied just sit right in the vase. So it's a good inexpensive way to use up some of those smaller flowers and to really kind of, I got this a little tight. So on here, when I tied it so tight, it made my flowers go together a little bit too much and took away some of the value. So I'm going to tie it a little bit looser. So we get a little bit more spring in it. So, oh, are we frozen? No. Okay. All right, so Jackie, you want to show us yours? Or, there we go. So beautiful combination. Oh, there we go. Oh, yay.
I can do that.
All right, nice. So you've got carnations and peonies that kind of match? Or did your carnations look like peonies from here?
You know what, Sandy, I took the centers out. You know how you can pull this?
Oh, look at that.
So they're carnations.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
Oh, that's awesome idea.
Yeah.
You get the gold star for today. Look at me, I'm like, I want to do that. But they really do look like pink peonies from here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They're kind of that antique.
Oh,
That
yeah,
antique.
okay. So the
So-
leggy. Awesome. How about Carmen? Are you ready or? He wants here.
Insurance company.
Carmen's maybe not there. Let's go to,
She's here. We were just playing with carnations. Thanks, Jackie.
Oh, yeah.
Distractor.
Hey man, you got to jump in on that idea. I almost did too. So are you ready to show your bouquet? All right, you can just tip it up. Oh. We're freezing on you. So let's go. How about Tammy from Ken's? Are you ready or?
Who did you want?
Yeah. Okay, if we lose you guys, we might have to sign back in. We're gonna try a different Wi-Fi.
I can hear you just fine. I'm not sure
Okay.
if everybody else.
All right, it worked. I think we're not frozen. Okay, Carmen, we got you up there if you're ready to show. We missed it. There we go. Oh, nice. Good combination of textures and good balance. So I like the groupings that you did and the shape that you got. Nice job. All right. So Kristen's just going to move around. Phyllis, if she's ready. Okay. Yeah. All right. She's got it up. Yeah, I'm trying to get you to hold it up a little bit more. Yeah, just a little higher. Okay, nice groupings on the cremins.
Yes,
And
we're
good balanced distribution on the roses and the hypericum, really drawn through. Well, look at those beautiful Alstro. Now we know where all the good Alstro went. No. All right. Nice job.
Yeah, on the shelf.
All right.
What about Lori?
Lori? Nice job. So you've got magnums for your cremins. Those are become more dominant. So they're kind of overpowering your roses, and it would be just a matter of if the customer would see more value in the roses or in the cremins. And so you could put one a little bit lower and one higher, and the roses grouped together, then they would be more balanced with the size cremins that you have.
I got a little tight toward the end again, so.
Okay. Yeah. Now, good contrast to textures. All right. Jackie, have you showed yours already? Or you started it? Did we start you with you?
Hi. What can I help you with?
Soderbergh. Okay, Soderbergh's is ready. Let's go there. There we go. So, and you too, I think one of those cremins on the outside, I think it would just take it a little bit lower. The top one, or yeah, the bottom one, I mean, just bring them both down a little bit. Okay, so now spin it again. We froze. I don't know what's going on. Sorry. There we go. We're going again. Okay, and your roses in the nice grouping. And then, yeah, there we go. Oh, very nice. Yeah, nice balance. I think, do you see the difference how we sunk those magnums a little bit? They became a little bit less dominant. All right, so we're ready for the next one. And Sarah, ready to go? Sorry, catching you there. Oh, nice. All right, up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, see, that's good balance with how you brought the roses kind of to one side and then hypericum to the other. So, and the spray roses are kind of that same thing, coming in a little bit of a nice combination of colors. So good balance and combo. So who do we have yet? Tammy?
No.
Both Tammys, I guess. So we'll go with Tammy. Tammy with the Y first. There we go. She's got a jewel tone. Woman after my own heart, right?
Yep.
I have to like make myself not order purple flowers. Oh, that's wonderful. Very nice. And so did you add some loops? Or that's the ribbon up in there?
Yep, there is. Yep, the ribbon is in there.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I like how it's coming out and it's become more a part of the bouquet. Yeah. From here, it does look like. Yeah, all right. So we'll go with Tammy with a Y. Nice job, Tammy with a.
Well, that was
Y. Tammy with an I. Oh, there we go. We got a complementary color combination. So very nice. And got the good cremons. And are those like burgundy hearts, roses?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they're really nice and large. And I like how you use them in the groupings. So it really adds to that dominance in there. So did everybody go? And does anybody have any questions? Did Linda go? Yeah, I think Linda went. Yeah, they're nodding yes. All right. So then we're ready to move on to number 2. Oh, Georgia, how'd you do? You want to show us? So we have our guest designer in-house, and Georgia's going to come over here. Just come by me.
I'm gonna get on camera.
So I forgot about her here, but Georgia's our in-house designer, and you guys have seen her on Friends with Flowers. And so she did the combination of the Art Deco roses and some of the stock and stuff. So she had to choose from the leftovers, my flowers. So she got to be a little creative with her flower choices. So very nice combination though. All right, step this just there. So the next thing we're gonna do is start with our rustic wire. And this kind of feeling really comes from some of the different venues that we have out there right now. And we know that there's a lot of alternative venues, and people are kind of doing the farmhouse chic. And so it's rustic, but yet has some of those different combinations. And we're seeing a lot of the like protea and some of the bigger flowers. And so by utilizing this rustic wire armature, we're able to create some of that rustic feel and then have it be contrasting with some more elegant flowers. And so we're going to have everybody start with it here and just unwind and get your 2 ends. So I've got about a hand like that long. I have big hands, but you unwind enough that you have a handle. So just leaving it in the round shape. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to flip one over one way and the other one over the other way. So it just goes over each other one time. This way here. Yeah, I can see that they can see it. So the next thing we're going to do is grab that handle, and then we're going to start pulling. So the first one this way and the next one to the other side. So you just start spreading them out. So here I'm coming, and some I'm going to pull a little bit so they get a little bit longer. And that makes some of the ones in the middle pull a little bit shorter. So can you guys wave if you can see? So we just have Lori. Lori can't see. Lori, can you guys see now? Are they frozen?
Yeah, we're froze for some reason.
Huh. Must be on yours.
Any suggestions that unfreeze?
To unhook from Wi-Fi. What we did here is unhooked from Wi-Fi and then hooked back up, right? So on your Wi-Fi button to
Okay.
turn it on and off.
Figure out how to minimize this now.
So you guys can kind of see here that I have just kind of created like a flower shape with my rustic wire. So it has depth. This side here is flat, and then it goes up into different areas on the top. If you want a little bit more elegant look, that same thing can be done with any of the decorative wire. So here you can see that I created it with some of the etched gold wire.
Freaking there's lots of layers.
Same thing, where you're just starting with those circles and then pull it out into the different shapes. If you do want to make it a little bit more interesting, you can actually bend it into petals. I don't know if you can see this here. So you just pinch the end and then make it into a flower petal so that you could actually make it into a flower. Lots of times I would use those for flower girls or somebody that's gonna need a bouquet that's a little bit more protected from them throwing them all over the place. So then there's a couple other things we're gonna do while you guys are messing with that. So some of the roses that we're using today, I have the white mondials, and then the country home peach rose, Art Deco, and then a newer rose called Amsterdam. And Lori, are you guys unfrozen?
We can see you and hear you now, but we can't see it. For some reason, I can't get our video to come up. I mean, like of ourselves.
Okay. Well, you're looking good, so.
You can see us?
As long as you can, yeah, we can see you.
Hey, all right,
yeah.
Sounds good.
So on this, did you get to see this here?
Oh, we didn't.
I hold it here. So I just started unfolding it and pulling it to one to one side, one to the other side, and then shaping it kind of into a flower type look. And then I explained that it can be done with decorative wire as well. So while you guys are shaping those, one other thing that we want to talk about is just utilizing some of these larger head import roses. Here I've got Country Home in the peach, and Country Home also comes in a yellow as well. But it's a big rose that kind of resembles that garden rose when it opens up. But that's one, you really need to get those in like on Monday and let them sit out and let them start cracking open. And even when I'm making the arrangements, what I'll do is just blow into the rose, kind of trying to break the middle seal there. And then the next thing we're going to do is spin them. And you can see here that it really opens up that the rose. And I'll do it one more time again. So I'm going to pop off some of the leaves that are going to be below the binding point. So you would remove the guard petals. Amsterdam doesn't really seem to have as much guard petals. And I'm just spinning this up one hand, down the other. Oh, yeah, you got to get a little bit far enough away. And so it's just going back and forth and sliding down. And the other thing if you really want it to, is just not to have that big stem on the top. So there you can see, now it really opens up. So it's a really good way to get a lot more value out of your roses. Have you guys rolled your roses before? It sounds like some kind of illegal deal. But that really exposes that garden look and kind of gives you that whole like peony rose look. So it's best really to get your roses out and opening them for a wedding, because you can always put them in a cooler and kind of stop the progress. Oh, okay. There we go. And so the roses that you have for this next one, we kind of want to get them opened up so that they have a little bit more impact. And we did already talk about the carnations, but of course I have to try the carnation peony here and take the middle out of this one.
Sandy, I thought for sure I learned that technique from you.
I'll take the credit.
Whenever
No,
I think
mostly about splitting the calyx, I call them carndrangers then. But so now this is a carnation peony. So I'm not sure I should say that very fast 3 times. Could be naughty. But just splitting those calyx, I get used to doing that on a regular basis, and you just really get a lot more value out of it and not adding or decreasing the life. Are you guys hearing me okay? My headset went in and out, but all right. So we have number 2 here. And here, just as an example of one of the bouquets, and Georgia put this together for me. But you can see how you have that area of interest. We have the pincushion protea that are in the middle. And then we're utilizing the huckleberry. And I've been preaching on loving huckleberry and that rich green look and kind of that more wild look. So we get the Italian ruscus kind of spread, but a little bit less expensive of a way to go. And this last weekend I did a wedding in Little Rock and we used a ton of huckleberry and it was fabulous. And so sadly, I can't publish any of those pictures, but yeah, they'll be in the future. So, but here you can see same kind of thing where we've done things in groupings. On here, we have the spray roses. We use them on one side and the other to kind of balance out. And then We have a lot of space left over here and for our lily to open, but that's kind of a hope bouquet, right? And we hope it's gonna open. So let's get our flowers out for this thing. And I've got a couple of sunflowers. I'm bringing in as a focal. Roses, I have the Amsterdam. Oh, that probably sounds bad on the mic. Try to cover the mic when I do that. I can hear it in my own ear. Sounds bad in my own ear. All right. So Solidago, I have a little bit of the foliage that's starting to go. So I'm going to pull that off so it's nice and clean. On some floral materials, I'll remove the foliage because when it's the first thing to go, if people are really looking in, they see that and they feel like everything is compromised. And just sometimes it doesn't draw water up real well. The other thing that I want to talk about is just kind of during the week, normally I do the bouquet work first because I can save some of the bits and pieces for some of my personal flowers. Like this leucadendron foliage is great for boutonnieres to come in, make like your pocket boutonnieres. But so I'll save some of those bits and pieces, do the personal flowers after we would do the bouquets. And the bouquets are going to be in water. So lots of times you're doing those on Wednesday already. All right, so the same kind of thing where we would be cleaning up the flowers that are going below the bind point. This gets a little bit more complicated going through the armature. And we should have had huckleberry on this that I made mandatory because I wanted everybody to try it. You're going to be able to cut some of it up, but you do want it to extend out beyond your armature. But you can take a look like this one, for example. I'm going to cut right in here piece, and then I've got this piece, and I have this piece. So I'm able to get 3 stems, usable stems out of that. I'm just clearing off the foliage that's below bind point. Is everybody ready to start putting together? Can you give me a wave if you're feeling ready? Thumbs up. Carmen, you're doing all right. I think we got everybody, huh? Okay. So one other point, like I said, I was going to use sunflowers, and you can see some of these stems are monsters. And when they want sunflowers in a bouquet, I want them to be able to actually hold on to it. So what I had Georgia do actually is wire this sunflower. So in this bouquet, I'm gonna use the real stems, but I just want to show you that you are able to wire that sunflower so that you get the directional control out of it, and you can bring it a little bit further out into the bouquet, and not have this king stem to deal with. So again, we're going to take our armature into our hand and set it essentially on your hand there, and just stay that close, Dan. Okay, so we're going to go here and we're going to start laying in some of this huckleberry foliage. I gotta go the right way. So same thing, come in sideways and tip it up in. And I want some of it to extend out wild looking. You just put it in, do that half turn, and some can come from above, but if you come in here, you want to watch that it goes to the front of your bouquet and you're following that spiral. So just do a little half turn so you can see where you're going. And then take a look at your spiral on your stems. And here's kind of no, I'm looking at the screen so that they can see. Sarah, do you got yours together already? And tip it in. All right, looking good and balanced. There we go. And Lori, still going a little bit. Tammy with an eye, how you doing up there? Oh, looking good. Carmen, you're right. Okay. All right, so now you have to kind of watch where your flowers go in. So we're going to be inserting them in from the top. And so you think of that there's a front side and a back side. If you keep inserting in the front side that you can see, so this would be facing toward you, and you have the stem going on the front, and it's always the same direction. So the head to your left, and then your stem to the right. And then do a little half turn, do the same thing. And as you're sticking in, that's when you have to watch where it goes. Oh, how did I wire? So Jackie just asked, how did we wire the sunflowers? And I think there's one sunflower left in the bucket over there. And we'll just show you. We just did a X wire, the piercing coming from the two directions. So take the flowers off, or the foliage, take the flower off. And so because I wanted some of the stem exposed, I actually let some of that exposed rather than cutting it real tight. Just smooth out some of those places where the foliage attached. Then I went in, and this is about probably a ½ inch down from the top of the head. So I'm gonna do the hairpin wire on here. And then I'm gonna go down about an inch and do the same thing and come down. And then I'll just come through that with the tape. The tape, the same as the wires we taped. I start below, I go up, and then I come back down. Holding the tape on my pinky finger. A great practice to get in. And this way you can just get it. So when you do that hairpin wire, you want to have them separated. There was one wedding I went to that they used thick wires, and they did the cross wires one right on top another, and all the heads popped off. So if you're doing that cross wire, you go in one side, then you go down further, then you go turn into the other side. So that's how we tape that. So here, I'm going to cut these a little bit shorter. So on my sunflower, I tucked it down into that armature. And that's where, you know, right now we're seeing a lot of the like pink mink proteas, these big head flowers. And this way you're able to kind of put it in something, and it gives it a little bit more of that better proportion to me, to be able to spread some of these things out. So using the armature makes it feel more balanced, and so that I don't have to, I can give that protea space to be able to be the showpiece that we want it to be. All right. So next I'm going to come in with my roses here, and you can start potentially going to the outside of the armature. I'm going to put one inside the armature and one's coming on the outside. There. And then come in with my Allstro. Do a little half turn here. So you notice there, I actually put it in and it came to the front side. So once you stick it in, if you're feeding it in, then you want to go and look at the back side and see that it's following the pattern of the spiral. So one went inside, and I'm going to do a little turn here. And my next one's gonna come outside. So right now I have eight flowers in here. You know, of course, some of them are bigger, but you can see that you really can get a lot of space and value out of those stems. Come in with my carnations and my filler just on the low end. My new peony carnations. To get a little bit more spread, you can add some of the salal in a little bit earlier. That'll spread the flower material out a little bit more as well. But I think that the huck works really awesome as an armature. And then my solidago I did along the outside. And lastly, I'm going to come in and collar, which means just hiding the mechanics on the bottom. Spin around here and just on the bottom side. And I come right down to my binding point with that salal and just hide all of the mechanics. Just making sure to stay in that spiral pattern. How we doing? Anybody struggling? Oh, Linda looking good. And Jackie, let's see yours. Oh, they're just still going yet. We can let them go on. I'm just seeing them. So lastly, I'm just going to add a little bit of power of motion. And so as we look at this bouquet, you can see it's pretty static. And just by adding the lily grass in, I really am going to be able to draw some attention and also make the bouquet larger just by adding that extra lily grass. I kind of double the size of the bouquet. So we're just going to come in here on one side and the other and really kind of following into, so my focal is my sunflower. So my lily grass leads into the sunflowers and leads out of the sunflowers. And then you're going to tie this off with the bind wire. I think, hang on, it's twisted. Yeah, way too big, yeah. Just pull it the middle. Okay, we want to fold it in half and then half again. All right, so again, I hook that loop onto my pinky and come around and just bind. So not too tight, just so that you keep that spread. And you can just shake your bouquet a little bit and it kind of loosens up.
What was that you tied it with? I missed that.
Bind wire can be your bind wire, or people use like the anchor tape. I end up using bind wire. You should have had bind wire that came. So one of the ultimate tests of a hand tied bouquet is if it will stand by itself. So the spiral kind of forms a structure that's able to support itself. One little hint on that is to cut the middle a little bit shorter than the outside. So, and then you set it down hard, kind of like, ah. Yeah, we're gonna have it. Oh. Let's schedule it there in the middle. All right, perfect. Yeah, we have the review yet, so this will be a little bit more. How we doing? Anybody with questions out there? I'm just gonna have a sip here. Everybody doing all right?
So I have a question for you, Sandy.
Yeah.
Trends for long stems versus short stems in bridal bouquets. I read somewhere that long stems are coming back. What's everybody else seeing?
I haven't seen that as much as just the giant things. And
Yeah.
I mean, to get the equivalency of some of those big things, you need the longer stem to be able to balance it when you're holding it.
Yeah.
I'm curious of what people charge for bridal bouquets and even prom bouquets. Like, how do you charge? And like, I don't want to ask local florists in our area because they're competition, but how do you charge for the bouquets and your time?
The hand labor on bouquets and especially wedding stuff, you really choose the premium flowers. So you almost have to do like a 4-time markup on your flowers versus the regular like 3, 2.5, 3 to 3.5. So it's like 4 to 4.5, and charge that premium. And then also because of all the handwork, your labor on regular arrangements is going to be 20%. On wedding stuff, it should be about 40%. So if you have a, you know, $100 bouquet, $40 of that is going to be labor. And then also the materials. And so you would back it out and then form your recipes of where your flowers are. So if you normally charge like $2.75 or $3 for a rose in a bridal bouquet, you're probably going to be charging about $4.25. Just because you're going to use the premium and you're going to take extra time to process, hold them out, and make sure that they're in optimal condition for the bridal work. Did that help?
Yes, thank you.
So there's pricing modules. Team Floral really does a good job on that. And I've got some information on that too. But the other way to do it is to kind of start backing it out, like how long does it take you? So on this armature, you saw that it didn't take us very long to do, and you think about it. But so if it took you 15 minutes, if you're paying your designer like $20 an hour, but with benefits and everything, it's like $30 an hour. You have to take those 60 minutes divided by $30 an hour is going to be $2 a minute. So if this took you 15 minutes, then it's going to be, no, did I do that right? Yeah, so it didn't take me 15 minutes to make the armature, the whole thing. So that's $30. Yeah, so that's $30 labor on that. So you can do it either way, pricing kind of by the minute or pricing by percentage.
I think an even more relevant question is that
You're asking a question, but you're muted, or I'm not hearing you.
Can anybody else hear me?
There, I hear you now.
Okay, so you know how we gave people quotes and estimates for brides like 6 months ago and a year ago, ideas. I think that's the more relevant and challenging question. And now that we're back, we're up to like $6 roses. You know, that's challenge. That's tricky for me, I think.
Yeah, that's why utilizing some of these armatures to be able to spread the bouquets out, and something like the Huck, which is an inexpensive green, to kind of be, you know, because you can use that Huck without the armature as well, to create a little bit of an armature itself with just the stems, to really try to spread those flowers out and add that extra value by designing in that spiral pattern and really trying to add that value with the design. So do we think we're ready to show? Do you want to go to, looks like Lori is ready to go. We're going to highlight you here. There we go. So you've got a leucadendron that's up nice and high, and so the dark rose really balances that out and helps to bring balance into your bouquet. Yeah, just come, look at me. I'm trying to stand on my tippy toes.
Sorry.
Yeah, and good balance on the orange. And you've got that split complementary color combination. And so it's very nice.
Thank you.
Oh, well done. All right, so I'm just gonna go next. If you're ready, Carmen, you ready to roll? Yeah, she's had her bouquet in hand, I see. There we
So
go.
I had to do a couple substitutions.
Oh, that's fine. It was not a specific recipe. Yeah, so yeah, there is the Italian ruscus instead of the huck. So it adds a little bit more cost, but it gets very, very similar look. So in there, we added the white and just tip it out to me a little bit more. So you can see how the white really captures your eye. And so sometimes white in a bouquet like that, that's with the warm colors, can be a little bit of a competing focal area. So how you split those apart, I think I would maybe move that white together and have it be more dominant in the middle. But you can see how all of a sudden this one white one over here draws your eye to the side of that bouquet. And it's kind of hard to get it back over here. Some of the sprays over there bring it back. But so just when you go with white in a bouquet, especially if you're going with like a warmer bouquet or a real cool bouquet, you have to really watch your placement of white.
It's because she has a cheap ass boss, so we just use what we had.
No, it's fine, Mindy. No, it's good because it's good lessons to learn, you know.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, and that's why I kind of wanted you guys to choose your own flowers, because it allows you the creativity and choices so that we can continue to learn from everybody else. And that's what makes the class interactive. So nice job.
Thank you.
I'll go.
All right. So I'm letting Sarah. So Jackie, you ready?
Jackie? Yeah, I can
Yep,
go.
she's ready.
There we go. I did.
All right. So we have.
I added a little cheap amaranthus.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Just back it off a little bit. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then give us a spin. So very nice. I like the amaranthus, how that plays off of the dahlia, not dahlia, but faux dahlia. And good, so how you took the sunflowers, how one draws back into the other. And so it really feels like they're connected in the bouquet. And then that amaranthus coming in opposite of the cremons that are over here with the darker color, really kind of pull, so it brings your eye in and then down, and then that yellow pulls you right back, and that brown center and that sunflower really has enough weight to be able to handle that amaranthus being offset in the bouquet. So nice job.
Thank you.
All right, so Phyllis, you ready? All right, and look at that hot combination. Very nice. So she's got her pins in the middle in a nice protected area. The roses, nice grouping, and coming into solid aster. Good balance on that. It really feels like it's all working together. I love the depth that you created with the huck, and really feeling like it's a good shape and yet sort of asymmetrical with some of that huck placement as well. But coming in with your carnations in that dark color really anchors that bouquet and like draws you down in, and really you can feel the depth in it, how it comes in and just adds that extra value, drawing you into that bouquet. Nice job. All right, Linda. There we go. Oh, nice. And so you use your solid aster up in the middle, which is great, and good combination of colors coming around. So you can see everybody kind of similar recipe and how some of the bouquets are so different. So she really achieved a lot of depth by using that solid aster a little bit more up in the middle versus when I did it more on the outside. And they get a lot of depth. Put it back in here again a second. So there she has that lighter color, I think a lighter color rose, and it still is working. It's not as strong of a contrast as we saw on the white. And so I think it really works with the yellow and the sunflowers. And then, so is your carnations are similar color? Or is that roses in the front and the back? Okay, no, they're, yeah. Yeah, so it really, it helps to draw it in. One of the things I always say is if you use a rose on top and then you end up using a carnation that's similar color, all they see is the one rose, that color. They see the repetition of the color, they see more roses. So it's another way to stretch that budget out.
Okay.
Oh, nice. I like how you did the grouping of the sunflowers there and the strength of the roses. So your spray rose maybe might be a little bit high. Just flip it around.
I'm still learning. This is my second week.
That's good. Yeah, you did good. Just flip, turn it a little bit for me. Can you turn it? And so yeah, on the bouquet, so that's more like a vase style. And just if it's going to be a bridal bouquet, you would just come down a little bit more and maybe try to spread it out a little bit wider instead of quite so tall. So nice job for a beginner. You're rocking.
Thanks.
Good job. All right, who do we got next? Tammy with a Y, I can see her bouquet shining right there. There we go. Look at that. Very nice. So I can see that you opened your roses nice. You can really see the extra value on those. Nice big sunflowers. And so the carnation's kind of the same thing. She used a similar color carnation as her roses, and it just adds that extra value in. Very good. So did you feel like it could allowed you to spread your bouquet out a lot more? Or? Oh yeah. Let's go. We'll go with that.
Sorry. Yes, no, this is probably one of my favorites so far that I've done with you. So I really like the way this one turned out.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, adding that whole rustic influence in.
Yeah.
Also that protea. So, or some of those elements where they're bigger elements that allows us to spread it out a little bit more, I think is a good way to go.
Right.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Tammy with an I think.
Yep.
Here's some. Got the jewel tones.
Yep.
Nice.
They're
So
my
you did
favorite.
a lot of huckle way through the middle. It really adds that whole wild influence. And I like how that comes up and draws. So you can see a lot of depth really coming in through there. And feeling good about your spiral? It looks good.
I like the color.
Yep. They're asking here if we should have you tested to see if you could set it on the table.
I just set mine on the table.
Yay, that's good. All right, nice job.
Thank you.
All right, so Cotterbergs, are you guys ready? There we go. Oh, look at how pretty that is. Oh, with the yellow. Very nice. So there she went with some of the Bells of Ireland. Yeah, that's a great contrast, adds a nice height on it and really kind of does really well with, and you've got a gerb in there in your focal and then some of the roses done in groupings. And just give me one more spin. I like how you brought it together all the way down, how it just kind of curves down and it's a little bit, comes down in a little bit more. So very nice. And it looks like it would stand on the table. I can see your stems are flared. All right, so I think Sarah, are you guys there yet? All right. Looks like you picked it off the table. Standing. All right. Looking good. You brought, I like the depth on that. So from one side to the other where you can see you've got the good. And so the sunflower, I might spin that around again. So as I'm looking at it right now, turn that sunflower toward yourself. It's really impactful. Take that and just try to turn it so that it goes into the bouquet. So the head goes into the bouquet. And I'll just show you here, like here, sometimes this becomes a stop sign. And if you turn it in slightly, it kind of becomes an invitation into the rest of the flowers. Yep. Yeah, that made a big difference when it really captured my attention and I couldn't get beyond it. So if you take that head and just turn it like it's going into the bouquet, it'll encourage them to engage with all of the rest of the flowers in the bouquet. And we'll get, so do we get everybody? We got Georgia yet. So she's gonna bring hers over. Here, yeah, just go in. 1 second to set this down. Oh, look at that. So I really like, so Georgia really kind of, the tip it here. So she used a little plumosa that's a little bit sheltering. So she's got her rustic wire up a lot higher and really used that kind of more exposed and sunk her bouquet deeper down in. So it's great to see the motion that comes through. And then she just, the other thing that she did was just tie back some of those lily grass loops to imitate the loops that came off of the rustic wire. So that plumosa, just adding that whole dancing over the top is just a fabulous look. Nice job. All right, everybody. So we're just gonna take a 15-minute break and you can get these flowers in water and then get your next flowers out, and then we'll come back and do the elongated armature. All right, so we will come back at 5 o'clock. Nice job.